Alright, we're gonna have a long video here. We're gonna go over what I consider is gonna be easy for the average player, and then we're gonna go down the list of every single game, show some footage, talk about some tips, or not. So this video is not gonna be a guide on every single game, but we're gonna go over just like the things that I could really mention that might help and understand the quest a little bit easier. We're gonna go through all 31 games as people are looking to do get to at least 27 games, rune badges and key badges, just to get the grand prize, the final prize. Doesn't subtract to your total amount. It's just that item is given if your total badge amount. That's it. It's all that matters. So 27 badges of those quests in total. Now, before we start on all distribute all timestamp for each game. Basically a couple things here. One, like I will talk about some tips here and there, but if you have if I make a mistake or you have some extra tips on the game that to make it faster, then don't be afraid to post it in the comments. Helping other people is always priority, so I'll try my best to give what I have. Some games on the lists I'll mention it when I'm talking about it. There is going to be RNG games that may favor you, or you may get unlucky. But even though RNG is part of difficulty, but if you get good RNG, then it's going to be easier, and it would be higher in the list. But then there's some games that require progression. Some don't require. Some games that have progression. It's not required for progression, but if you have progression in that game, it would actually be higher in that list. The best example I have is World Zero. World Zero would take me about 3 minutes to finish for both quests, while if you don't have that done, it could take you up to 10 minutes to finish that, or even more or less, depending on how you do it. Alright, so let's start off with the very first game here that I have listed here. It is going to be NFL, Universe Football. So to me, I think one of the easiest games listed here is going to be this NFL game. Now, these sports games, people are always scared of PvP stuff because it's like, oh, these games, it's very, if there's a lot of, like people, if it's like, oh, passing or, doing touchdowns, to people who are playing the game a lot wouldn't pass you because you're brand new to the game. But for this quest, it's just get like 10 blocks, and blocking just pressing the X button when when you have your quarterback or the other quarterback hikes the ball. You can just anybody who's just the enemy that doesn't have a ring around their circle, you just press X on them, and then you're straight up. That will give you +1. It's like it's on a cooldown. It's on a cooldown. It's not like spamming it will give you every single time. You can do like every like 5 or 10 seconds. You can go ahead and do that. So you don't want to do anything. Don't want to be a quarterback. You don't want to even catch the ball. Just find some guy on the enemy team that's like AFK or something, and then just straight up press the block button, and it'll go up by +1 basically. And then for the key badge, it was straight up just play this mini game in the very back corner of the map. All you do is just catch the balls, and that's it. And you do that 15 times. It's super fast. So the blocking can take like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and this could take like 2 minutes to finish basically. And it's super, super easy, at least on PC. But this is like I think the easiest game out of all of them. As much as I don't like playing sports games on Roblox, they made this quest, and they've been in events before in the past as well. This one's probably one of the top easy and fastest ones you could do. That's for sure. Next up we have is Strongman Ultra, the sequel to Strongman Simulator. The very first quest it's like an AFK game. If you just like want to take a break or something and just like do something else, because these lollipops, they spawn like every minute. You can let it wait out for a bit, and like you can pick up multiple if you like miss a couple minutes here, but over time you just stand here and you just straight up wait for this lollipop to spawn, and you drag it 15 times. So each time you drag it over, you get +10 candy. We need 150 candy. Once you get 150 candy, the portal opens up. Now this area over here, it is a fixed power. So what that means is that you can't have progression to help you go faster here. And so what you need to do now is pull 175 pumpkins across and to build the bridge. Now, as the game play and make this go faster for yourself, Do not force yourself to do the harder ones, like the medium one or large ones, early on, as the way the game it progresses as the normal game. The when you keep pulling, um, when you keep pulling things over, you're getting event power basically, and uh, maybe around like 60 points you have done, you can start pulling the large one. So you have to grind the medium one and grind the small one for a little bit until you reach a certain amount, and then you're good to go. You can see here in the top right over here, you can see that um, we have 60, and it's just perfect. That it's perfect amount where it's fine to just keep pulling that one. So this one is easy, but it's just not time consuming, but it's just like you can't really mess this up. You just got to keep doing it until you're finished. All right. All right. Next up we have is Adopt Me. Adopt Me is almost at the same part of Strongman Simulator, but it's a bit time consuming. So you just have to AFK at the timers. I don't know if you can serve. This is where people can help here. I don't know if you can server jump, and the times are not global, but I could be wrong. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but I never want to test it out, so I didn't do that. Very simple. The very first quest, which is get 4,000 candy in total from any minigame. If you get this minigame, you're gonna get it in one go. It's not hard. You can get a lot. You can get like 10k candy, even more than that, just by playing this minigame if you get really far. The other two minigames, you could get 4k in one go, but if you don't, then you gotta just wait even longer. And then the quest after this is to get 3,000 candy from minigames. What that means is that the first part was accumulative from all three, but then now we have to play and hope to get 3,000 plus per run. So it doesn't matter what minigames you do, the same minigame or two different minigames, you get 3k more. The easiest one is the Huntlet, whatever it's called. That one's the easiest. To get the 3k above. The costume party, you can get 3k. You can get 3k if you get like 3 votes. And then the other one, you have to get like 240-ish, 200, 220 candy in one run to get 3k above. So it's not difficult. It's just, a lot of it's just standing around unless you can server jump. But the games are very easy to do, and it's just very simple, like AFK game. You don't do much. I don't know. I wasn't really trying. I should have showed footage of me doing this, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's not like it's a huge tutorial, but go to room 46 on my first try on this game, and then you can see that we got like 10k, which is like pretty much overblown for that one quest, basically. All right, next up we have is Keys. Now, Keys is very simple quest because I'm pretty sure it is just a what they did for the games, which is just like pick up the shines and all that stuff, and then do the second part, which is like do the 4 or 5 quests. First part, just find pumpkins, so play a couple rounds. And I think the one thing about Keys, which is very important to know and makes this a lot faster, is that if you die or you escape or you find a lot of pumpkins and you don't want to waste any time waiting for the next round to finish, you just leave the game and server jump, okay? Because the way Keys works is that if you join a brand new server, you can most likely join in progress, okay? Depending on the time left, right? So for example, like there's one quest which is escape 3 times, which is the last quest for the key quest. You escape 1 time, leave the server, join a new server, and now you're not wasting that much time. If you died somehow, then just leave the game, join a new server, do it again. This is the one thing about it that makes it, I think, why is it an easy quest or easy game to do for the most part? You just leave the game, leave the server, and you just rejoin again, and then you're good to go for that. All right, next up we have is Driving Empire. I mean, you could say make this one a bit higher on the list, but I think it's a bit comparably, you have to move around because the other ones you just like kind of AFK. But it's a very simplistic quest. It's just it could take a little bit long, unless I did the way to do things wrong. But you just gotta run around and do this. I mean, you could drive in circles or drive around the whole city, do like drifting like that guy. But of course, if you're new to the game, you might not have a fast car, so that's why I might make it a little bit harder. progression doesn't make it that much easier because having a too fast car doesn't really make a big difference unless you could just like speed around and like just go through all the streets basically. But all you're doing is just crushing 150 zombies and 300 zombies and that's it. So it's a very simple quest, nothing crazy, unfortunately. But that's just it's not. You consider it could be considered the easiest quest, but also I just took it just takes a bit of time to do because it's just like it's annoying to do a little bit. I'll be honest with you. All right, next up we have is Happy. Now, Happy, people like recommending this one to be pretty easy. I mean, it is pretty easy in terms of what you need to do, but it's a bit time consuming just the way it's set up. Now, the first quest, it wants you to get 15 candy corn. Now, you can pick up candy corn around the map, but you only pick up 10 only. So, you have to finish a round in order to get the candy corn. You have to escape in order to keep the candy corn, right? So it was a 15 for the first quest, so you have to go ahead and play the game normally. We just pick up the items and get the scanners 100% completed. So you kind of have to memorize the map. There can be the killers can be AI or they could be humans. In order for it to be AI, you join a very small lobby when you queue up in the hub or the main lobby. So you have to pretty much if you want AI is very easy to dodge and they're stupid. So I recommend try to put yourself in that kind of lobby. And then when you do the second round, here's a big tip here. Second round, it says you need to get 15 in total. So you would think, oh, I get 5 and an escape. No. What I recommend is to get 10 more, 10 again. So get 10 the first round, 10 the second round, because the second quest, it carries over. And it wants you to get 50 candy corn and 30 scanned items. What that means is that now your progress will be 20 candy corn finished and 0 out of 30. So now you can do that all in 3 runs only. What that means is that considerably every time you escape, you only need to scan 9 items, right? Because it's 3, and 3 times 3, it's 9. Wait, am I wrong? Hang on a second. Yeah. Anyways, so what you do is that now that you have 20 candy corn, you need to do 3 runs to get 30. So when you're scanning, you just scan 9 and an extra one. So even though you only scan 9, scan 10. So just do scan 9 as your normal one, and then scan an extra one on some random scanner, and then you do 10. So you're doing 10 per run basically. So then you can finish it in 3 runs. If you don't do that, then you do 4 runs. So which will spend more time. Okay, so that's how Happy works. All right, next up we have is Banana Eats. Now, Banana Eats is honestly a pretty simple quest in terms of what you need to do and what you have to do. It's similar to the Keys first quest, but a little bit not complicated, but a little bit more you need to do. The way it works is that you have to pick up 31 pumpkins in total, and the pumpkins don't respawn. They are unique spots on the map, so you have to kind of keep track of which maps you've done already. You can server jump and try to just I got a map already, I'll just go and find a new server and join. That's like the best thing you can really do. But you're really doing just trying to work on the map, find pumpkins that are placed in not random spots. They are for sure placed by the developer. Each one of them, and it's like maybe like 5 or 6 pumpkins per map. So you really just have to look at the map as possible. And it's kind of PvP, yeah, I understand that as well, but you really do just gotta, keep playing the new maps that you never played before and find them. It's not much of a tip you can do this. It's not hard, but like it's easy because it's like just run the map and it's a bit time consuming because you do really just have to look around and play a little bit for the most part. So next up we have is Racket Rivals. Now this is a pretty easy quest, but annoying because it's like slightly PvP unless you use an alt account. So you just try to join a small server, and then have your alt and do 1v1 matches, and then that's it. So the first part, you have to go ahead and hit 25 rings. The rings are client side, so you're not fighting against the other person hit the rings, but you do have to kind of learn how the game works in terms of hitting the rings and stuff. Um, and like the fun part, I think the second quest is like win 2 or 3 matches or something like that, but you can't what do you call it? You can't like the badge isn't given if you finish 25 rings. You have to go back to the NPC in order to um get the badge. So making this like alt account, play against me and, try to finish the ring quest, but I want to win the match, but it doesn't progress. You actually have to like then just have to AFK after a bit. It's pretty top tier gameplay. Like this is all the like once it's like okay, I got my alt account and then I just AFK the alt account and it just does this and you just do this and you win. Like there isn't much. Like I mean, it's easy if you do this setup, but like a little bit difficult if you try to actually play the game normally. Unless you have progression and you have like cool stuff and you play the game a lot, then sure it might be easy to do it with I don't know against random people, but it's not difficult, but it's like the terms of there's many factors where it's like people don't want to do it. Like people don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. All right, next up we have is build a zoo. Now this one you can actually consider a little bit easier if you have a bit progression. Even starting out, it'll take a bit of time to like progress a little bit. I pre-grinded this before the event started and had some quests saved up because I know what the quest was before the game or before the event started. Let's get 20 candy. It was actually nerfed, I think, but just get 20. And they press at the same time, which is very nice. So collect 20 candies and collect 45 candies, basically. And this disclaimer is if you have progression, this is very easy for you. Don't get me wrong, but there is that where you can server jump to find the Halloween event, for the Halloween mutation event, right? And then you can also go to server jump, and every minute you can like someone's plot and get plus 2 tickets. So if you don't have a way to do the candy event or the quests, then you have to finish it out by server jumping and doing stuff. There's codes that can help as well. But I think I said in the video I was gonna put a list of codes, but I forgot. All right. Anyways, so it's not hard, but a bit time consuming. But it could be way easier if you have progress already. So that is that. The best way I can really tell you. I wouldn't put it like it's not that far on the list, but it's kind of similar to Restaurant Tycoon. That's why I think I put it very close to it. I think when I say I put it next to Restaurant Tycoon 3 is actually right under it because, like I said, both the quests are similar in terms of like daily quests or challenges. But you do a little bit more in Restaurant Tycoon, and plus, if you never played the game before, while progression both are important in Build a Zoo and this game, having a little bit of progression does save a little bit more time, as I think that's what you use the tutorial and like get to get some tables and some maybe a waiter or a chef, and that requires money, and some of the quests requires money, like the buying the furniture basically in order to get that one quest done, right? So it's not much I could do. I mean, my best tip for you, if you're not like speed running the event, which is what I do, I had to somehow get enough tickets to do almost all the daily challenges. I couldn't wait a day because you do daily challenges, they reset every day, but they accumulate. So if you do like 4 today and do 4 tomorrow, that's fine. They don't change as the variants of it are they're similar to each one. So for example, I had one was like serve 20 Halloween dishes, right? But then I checked today, and today is cook 20 Halloween dishes, which is hugely different. Because cooking is much easier than serving. To a certain degree, you have more control over what to cook, but also if you're the only cook in the kitchen, right? And then it costs 10 tickets. I don't know. Maybe it's a code for diamonds. I don't know if there's codes in this game, but if there is, then I must could have spared my time for doing this one here. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty simple stuff. Like the quests are a bit time consuming, but also not too difficult to do. I recommend obviously these are on the list here is what I recommend to do. Obviously, it's just this one you could take multiple like with build a zoo, and this one you could take multiple days to finish those ones, and you'll be good to go. Just there is progression needed for one of them. Like one of them is for gardening. If you don't have any, if your gardening level isn't leveled up, then you can't do that one. You know what I mean? So you kind of forced to do the other ones, but they're possible to do in one day, or possible to do it in a couple like an hour or so. But it's just there, honestly. Here we have is Untitled Tag Game. Untitled Tag Game, very straightforward. If you've played the in the past event or never played the game before, it's just a parkour game with some advanced movement, which is not normal movement on Roblox. Its own system. You do a little bit they do a bit of tutorial at the beginning, so you can learn how to mechanics and everything. But it is straight up just like a little bit of a parkour obby and some stealth stuff and some story here and there. Um, it is one of the. It might seem like it's very high production, a lot of effort, high effort put into this, but it is not like a hard thing to do. It just may take some practice, or the best advice in any of these AAA game, a AAA game, not just Roblox, is follow the yellow paint, very famously. So if you get lost, just follow the yellow paint. You should be able to get around pretty easily. Okay. There isn't much else to say about this game. I put it not that far in the lists. I don't know what number we're at, but like we're probably at like let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of 31 games. It's not reaching the medium difficulty. It's still considered easy. But you still have to like, parkour and stuff, which might be a little bit difficult for some people, even on mobile and stuff, but it is an experience that is very easy to do, and it's not that long either. But if you mess up a lot, then I feel like, yeah, I can understand. It will be difficult to understand and stuff. So, but it is fun. It's one of the better ones, quests in the lists of games that we have in this event here. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoy this one for sure. Okay, so other than that, let's go to the next one here. Next up we have is Weird Gun Game. Now, Weird Gun Game, um, it's can be a little bit difficult depending on how you do it. That's why we're here. It's not that difficult. It's just you need to get zombie kills. Now, I recommend a shotgun, as it does better in terms of never needing to really reload. And when you do need to reload a shotgun with a 30 magazine, it reloads this fast. So if as long as you have like some weird setup here for your gun, having a shotgun is very useful. Now, in terms of like needing kills and stuff, like you need like, was it 175 kills or is it 75 kills? I think it's 175. I don't know. It's a good chunk of kills, I would say. Now, what I do recommend is that don't try to win too hard. You don't need to be that high in the waves to get kills or the second quest as well. The easier way to do it is like to lose on purpose. But of course, in the early waves, there's less zombies to kill. But if you just want to get kills, and if you prolong a little bit, you will get more kills as there's more zombies spawning and a little bit harder to kill. They do the longer the more waves you do, the harder it gets in terms of more zombies spawning, different variants, and they also get more health. So that's the issue. They get more health. Normally, if you do like wave 2, wave 3 for shotgun, you're gonna one shot everything, but later down, like 15 or something, you're not gonna start one shotting stuff. So, truly, yeah, losing on purpose, and resetting the waves, or resetting back to wave 1 is your best bet in making this faster. If somehow you get to wave 20 and above is only zombies, but they're pretty tanky. So no other like crazy blue, red zombies spawn anymore. But getting there is difficult. But if you get past 20, you will get just zombie rush, and that's it. But I truly recommend just resetting your like get to like wave 10 and then just reset, or even wave 5 or 6 and then just reset, and then you're good to go for surviving 20 in total. Next up we have is Fisch. Now I marked Fisch. If you have progress, it'll make you slightly faster probably. The first quest is very simple. You just talk to the headless horseman using the frightful mirror, and then you talk to him, and then you get the pumpkins in the pumpkin patch. You carve them at the pumpkin patch, and then you pick them up, and then you have to go to 3 different islands. The event guys are glowing orange basically, and you should be able to spot them. The second quest, a bit more RNG. That's why it's a bit in the harder side, because when it has RNG in it, it's a bit annoying. Because if you get unlucky, it'll take longer. If you get lucky, it'll be pretty fast, right? Not difficult in the sense of like, there's like some crazy boss fight. It's just mainly just grinding and you know RNG, which makes this a longer and annoying to do. Yeah. So the second quest, you have to go ahead and catch a Halloween mutated fish 5 times. The thing is, there's 2 ways to do this. Unless you could do it normally just by luck, by playing the game with any rod, maybe it's possible. But you can get a spooky rod, which is from the witch behind us, and you have to get 10 ingredients from goblins, and goblins spawn randomly around the islands, but only when it announces it in the chat. So the chat, Roblox chat or notifications will pop up, and it will say a goblin spawned here, blah blah blah. You go to the goblin, do some stupid task, get 1 ingredient, you get 10. Once you get 10 ingredients from those, which is like every 5, I don't know how long it takes, like every couple minutes, which is why it's annoying. Then you get a guaranteed chance with the spooky rod to get 5 Halloween mutated fish. If not, you can go ahead and knock and trick or treat the houses in the Halloween area, and there's a chance where one of these houses randomly could give you a very low chance to give you a eerie an eerie relic, and the eerie relic can be used to enchant your fishing rod, and enchanting the fishing rod will give you a 10% chance to catch an eerie fish. So you can either go find goblins or get the eerie relic, and then enchant your fishing rod, which we got one here, luckily. Okay, people, that's super rare to get, I think. And then you just head over to the enchanter and the solventon, whatever, I don't know, the statue, and you enchant your rod, and then you can give and 10%. That's what I did. I just fished until I got 5 of those fish from doing that stuff. So Claw Machine Simulator, it's not that bad. It's just kind of long-ish if you don't have like progression in the game. Like for me, I have like 4 claws here and more pet equips, because the more pet equips gives you more strength per hit on the training machine and claws and all that stuff. And having different type of claws can give you, and hoverboards can give you more strength per hit. It just helps a lot more if you have that. But the actual quest isn't that bad. It's just kind of just playing the game and getting there. There's no like RNG. Like this one could be a little bit higher in the list, maybe even for like having no progression. But I put a little bit lower in. But I think it's not that bad in terms of that. You just gotta complete both areas and beat the boss at the end, and that's it. Maybe the boss might have people may struggle with that, but I think the boss is pretty easy in terms of that as well. Okay, so I'm not gonna talk too much long on this one. I think this could be a little bit higher on the easier list for sure, the easier part. But I just think progression, it helps actually a little bit in term. That's why I put it around there, I think. Our next up we have is Blair, the Phasmophobia game. Now, some might think this might be difficult to do. I don't know. But I think it's just a walking simulator. You don't actually like do much. There's no RNG. It is straight up just walk around the map, look at the map, look where you need to go. The ghosts can kill you and hunt you, but the thing is, this game, if you don't know, to at least my knowledge, there isn't lives. If you die in this, there's checkpoints. There is, you don't have to worry about dying. It just puts you back at the start, and you just have to walk back there. So I think that's where it makes it a little bit easier compared to some of the other games down in the list. Like, yeah, it's just walking around. the map is huge. Yes, you can get lost and spend time. Yes, but in terms of difficulty and just walking around, it's one of the games where it's just straight up. You don't need much to really, it's just walking around, just a walking simulator for both quests, both parts. Just make sure that when you get the first half, the key part is you have to make sure you to click on the code, the numbers you see on the wall, or it won't progress. Because I didn't do that. I have to walk even more, so that's my fault. And then the rest, you just gotta go slowly and just get around the map, basically. Next up we have is Dress to Impress. This quest, it's cool. I don't think it was made for the event. I think it's made for the game, but it doesn't matter. It is straight up kind of like a story quest type of dealio. Do some puzzles, run around the map, and then the final part is like a little boss type of dealio. Put the books in the correct order, just like kind of at the doors library section with that one boss or that one thing. And it's not difficult. It's just it really depends on the player, the average Roblox user. I think it's difficult in that sense where there isn't really, it doesn't really handhold you that much, but there is like checkpoints and um but there is I kind of forgot, there is a lot, there is three lives. You do have three lives. I kind of forgot about that. There are three lives. I think I should put this a little bit lower in difficult, higher in difficulty, because, or in the list, because one big factor is lives, and having that live system makes it where it is more difficult because you can get to the end and then you die and you have to do it all over again. That's what makes things difficult, and I'll probably say it again for multiple stuff. But the first quest, the key quest or the room quest, is very easy. There's just the key quest. You can play multiple. The thing is, this you can play multiple people, so that could say that can make it easier for yourself. So not to be solo, but you could do this with other people, which makes it, I think, at that point alleviate difficulty. So don't forget, uh, you having multiple people in this one could probably make this a lot better. Next up we have is Geff, whatever it's called. I still don't know what it is. I think this one just it seems like it's a much simpler quest, but it's one of those like if you don't know a guide or anything about the game, I can think it'd be a bit not complicated, but but random, I would say, and not knowing what the hell is going on. Jump scare there. Get 25 teeth, and then you have to like break them apart. Like and then the map is obvious. Like the getting the four waystones, like that one is very like it tells you where to go, exactly where to go. But I think the maze, I think, is a bit difficult. And then if you die in the maze or you get lost, then you have to like run all the way back, which is the annoying part of the quest. So I think in terms of just like not having like there's like no checkpoint at spawn, they may change, they go add it later, but I don't know. But just getting to where it took me 30 minutes, so I don't know, but it's up there for sure. Next up we have is Tower Heroes. The first part of it, just doing a fixed loadout on a map, which is actually very simple to do. And then we have the second part, which is like this whole house, find the four paintings and do a bunch of puzzles and stuff. This one is, it could be a little bit hard for some people, but the general thing is that there is no real, it's infinite lives, there's checkpoints as well, and there's a boss battle at the end. So it's similar to like Dress to Impress in terms of like, you know, story and puzzle stuff, but there isn't. I think it's a bit harder than that, but there is no. But you don't have to worry about resetting ever, like in terms of losing fully. But I think the boss fight could be difficult for some people, and difficulty in that sense. Like I said, Dress to Impress could be, harder, could be down a little bit lower the list because of the live system, but you can play that with people. This one's solo only, so if you don't have a guide or anything, we're doing this like without any, you can get lost in this mansion. It's quite big, and not knowing where to go and what to do, could be a little bit complicated for some people for sure. But it is a cool quest, one of the better quests out of all of them. So there is that. Honestly, Epic Minigames should be lower in difficult, higher in the list, to be honest with you, or lower in the, I don't know, lower in the list. I guess the harder, it should be harder, but it's just because it's so much RNG, and if you don't get what you get, you're gonna spend so much time. Even server jumping, when doesn't even help you. Okay, I think the general like consensus, or like I would think what I feel like the things that the quests that were added to do in this was like tested in terms of one by one. Like, oh, this is a good quest. But I don't think if you put it all together, doing it all at the same time or doing it in all, it's like, like it just somehow it just doesn't work. um, so basically, and also like I think the developer was like, or I don't know what, like I feel like people wouldn't have a hard time. If people, I don't know how this game's out for a long time. They just had like mini game. I don't know if there's a way to probably farm or get like mini game choices, not just picking the spider mini game, but picking like normal mini games, because there's many mini games where okay, it'd be like find an ingredient or destroy the candy bucket, right? There is mini games where you might just get where it just those don't spawn because that's just the way the mini game is set up. Like if like the airplane mini game or a mini game that has like no floor, it's not gonna spawn, right? So it's kind of an issue in terms of there is so much mini games that those will not spawn, and I took me so many mini games just to get to get the three ingredients. It took way too long. I don't know what else to say. This is a pure RNG and a pure annoying. And the final quest, which is defeat the spider-looking thing. Oh, one of the final quests. You do get some free stuff to choose it whenever you want. I just server jumped and try to find a full lobby, and people are farming it, but people are failed it a lot. It's difficult because people are not focusing the spider eggs that get laid. You have to kill those things. If you don't kill those, then they are going to be an issue for everybody else. And then this one move, which she hits everybody. I think people say, from my experience as well, these rocks that fall from the sky, if you stand behind them, the rock will take the hit if you're further enough from the spider, and you can't die either. So it's like you have to survive, try to be as far away as possible, and I don't know, but it's just so much RNG. I just have to obtain three ingredients and they don't spawn. They spawn like halfway through the minigame, but then have to be a minigame where you pick it up, which there is like a good chance of where it could be like multiple. Like this one, I don't think I even spawn on this one either. So it's like you just sit here and have to wait and wait and wait and wait. It's so annoying. All right, so what we have is Armless Detective. I think from my experience, this game's easy because I prepped. This like cathedral quest was in the game before the event started, or the quest was in the game. So I played through it. I played the tutorial as well. So I kind of understood what to do first and where to go first. I think the hard part is the skateboarding part is a bit janky here and there, but I think also people don't understand the evidence part of it. So like evidence as in you have to find three. It's like phasmophobia. You find like, oh, does it have cold temperatures? Does it speak in the spirit box? Is it EMF 5? It's that type of deal. Once you input three, it will narrow down to one of the suspects. If you put in four or you put in two, you're gonna get multiple. If you put in two, you get multiple suspects. If you put in three, you put in four, you're gonna get no suspects because there's no suspect that has four evidence. If you put in three, you always gonna get one, because the math, they've made the thing where it always shows one if there's three put in, only three put in. So it doesn't mean it's correct or not. You do have to look for everything, in order for it to work. If he only found two evidence and it might show like two suspects, then look at what they are accused of and then search for what they're what it could be out of the two suspects. So like for example, like you found angry ghosts, and then you found I don't know, candy around the map, right? Then okay, there's two suspects that are at large. Then I mean, you look at, okay, they are accused of one, um uh, they stole a diamond, or the other one is they are grave robbers, right? So then you go check those ones specifically, and if it's one of those, then you pick those ones. That's the best way to do it in terms of trying to figure out what's left. You know what I mean? So there's that. And then the skate park part is difficult, I think, for sure. I think people, it's because I don't know how it is on mobile, but you don't have to do every single house. I'm pretty sure it's infinite. But the way when I shot my video, I was doing all of them because it's like a rhythm game, I would say, kind of just like I'm used to it, so it wasn't that bad. But I would take my. I know you can't take your time at this point because the thing will get you, but also is there a cooldown on the jump, and then like these gaps are pretty big to get into. So there is that, I guess. But not much else to really say. But just gotta just practice or do the tutorial. The tutorial is very nice. I'll be honest with you. Even though there's some extra steps on this one, but yeah. Next up we have is World Zero. World Zero, it's if you have progression in this game, you could do it in 3 minutes. Very easy. But if you have zero progression, you like I've made the video already. You can solo the boss level 1 if you wanted to. Don't recommend it that much, but it's an option you have at least. The best thing you could really do for World Zero is either if you just play the game a little bit, get a better class and better pet, then sure. If not, you can try to invite people to your party and do it together there. That is the only advice I really have. There's so much you can really do in terms of that. Um, as the longer you wait for these type of games that require like a boss fight or some sort of party system, the longer you wait, the harder it is to find people. This is one of the biggest things in these events. Is why I make it in these type of quests. This is why things get difficult later on. For some of these quests, is that it is difficult in terms of the longer you wait, the harder it gets. And this is one of the prime examples for one of these for this game. Is yes, people are not going to be farming this anymore because it's no point to be farming it to a certain degree. For the higher level people in this game, I would say. But that's it for that. Good luck. Next up we have is Welcome to Bloxburg. Now you might think, why is it so down in the list? Well, it is very annoying to this quest when you don't know what the hell is going on, but also like it is a very long fetch quest, and fetch quests are not fun to do, and also just very time consuming. And well, I could say that I do have a way that for me, I didn't know about this until later in the after everything I finished, but it is will save a lot of time and be much faster. It took like 40 minutes to do for me at least. The first step was to get 500 tickets, 100 tickets. Now, I learned this along the way here, where you could join a neighborhood, which was farming tickets. There's a mini game you could do, which was you do it one time, you get like 30 tickets, and then you have to wait like 4 minutes to do it again, which is not worth it. So the way to do it is that you have to put a costume on. So you have to go to the costume shop, which you can teleport there. And you have to buy a costume. I don't know if you can afford it, but you can buy a costume, and that's themed for the day. So the ones that are featured on the front, you buy a costume, and then you go to a house, a player house in a neighborhood, and you can trick or treat. And I gives you 30 candy for costume on, or 15 candy with no costume on. So you run on the map, which I have no idea. There's no actual map, I don't think, to look at. So you drive around the city, and then you straight up do that. And you could do a house every 5 minutes. So if you don't have enough houses or know the map, you just AFK, I guess, and get 30 per every like 90 every 5 minutes or whatever. Annoying. And then you do the fetch quests. You do the fetch quest for Sabrina, and also I'm stinky and I'm slow walking. You walk around the map, and this is where I don't know, and I learned later, where there is the event UI. You click on the little pumpkin on the bottom right, and you go to the Sabrina Quest tab. And if it says, "I'll go to graveyard," or "go to the high school," or "go to lighthouse," there's literally a button that you can press to teleport to. I drove it. I drove everywhere. This is why it's annoying. But if you just click the button, then you're good to go on that part. But I didn't do that, so I drove around. But now you know, if you just press the teleport button, you teleport around basically. And there's a maze, which is, I think, is a kind of an homage. I don't know if Bloxburg does mazes all the time, but I'm pretty sure they did the maze thing for RB battles for 1 year. Second season or third season, I don't remember what it was, to be honest with you. But I mean, the maze isn't hard to do, but it's just the fetch quests, and it takes just walking around. If you look at the badges, in terms of like how many people own the badge, is a lot less from the player count. So no one's really doing this one, and also it's just annoying to do. Next up we have is Garden Tower Defense. I mean, I'm heard they nerfed this, but and you could play other people, so maybe I should have put this a little bit easier on the list. But I think the main reason why I put it there because now we're entering the territory of being able to fail and then redoing it all over again. And I mean, if you're doing this solo, you have a chance to fail. But if you play other people, it might be a little bit better. Can you play people? I don't know actually until I think you can. Yeah, you can for sure. But I assume it scales. I don't know how it works, but the main gimmick in this is that you have to kind of like not spend like you want to buy the obviously the OP towers, which is the last one, number 5 in the lists. But of course, to get there, you have to don't overspend in the beginning and then try to save up without leaking. And you just do that for all 3 maps. It gets to a point where like as long as you upgrade everything and you have them in the decent correct spot, I would say, then you should be good to go. But there's always a chance you could fail, and I feel like if you fail at like 85 or 86, I'm assuming it just resets back to the beginning and you do everything. It takes a bit of time. That's like the only issue and difficulty here. It's just like failing is like if you fail and you don't find people to play with, then I feel like it's going to be quite the issue in that kind of sense. I don't think it's that hard once you get the best towers upgraded and in the right spots, then you should be fine. But in terms of like that difficulty of failing is where I draw the line, draw it there, where it's like, yeah, it can happen for sure. Next up we have is PETAPETA. And this one, another one you could do other people, which might make it a bit easier, of course. This one has the chance of failure. If you fail, you have to probably do it all over again from level 1. You have to collect jack-o'-lanterns, which will be very easy to do, but then you have to finish all 3 levels, level 1, 2, and 3, and each level has their own gimmicks. Now, it does have a bit of RNG with it, which are if you're unlucky or lucky, you can go a lot faster with it. Of course, for me, I got super unlucky on level 3 because it introduces these teleporters, and the teleporters, the one that I needed was in the bathroom apparently, which was super unlucky because I didn't know they could spawn in the bathroom. So that made it super bad and super annoying to solve and do this kind of stuff. So it's hard if you're doing solo. Maybe people recommend doing it with other people, of course. But that chance of failure in level 3 and then doing it all over again, then it becomes kind of a chore at that point. Mimic, similar to PETA, a little bit harder, I would say, because it's longer. The first quest, the first rune key or the rune badge, you can fail as much as you can. There's no like worry that one's easy. But then, and you can play people as well. This one you can play people as well, again. But that will make it easier. I played solo, so that's why it could be a little bit harder on my difficulty for this. But it difficult in second and the key one because you have 3 lives only, so you can like once again same pattern here. You can fail, and spending part of the time trying to do this one, there's checkpoints of course, but if you die 3 times in total, you have to do it all over again. So that's the reason why it's up here. Plus boss fight by yourself, pretty hard, I would say. So good luck with all that. Next up we have is 99 Nights. And 99 Nights, for me, I don't play this game at all, as you can see. That's his badge for some reason. I don't play this game at all. It is a game where I never played, so I find it difficult. And people say it is a bit difficult in terms it's a bit time consuming. It's a bit of RNG. But if you have progression, if you have a class you could equip that makes it easy in the beginning, then you're good to go with that. What you need to do for this quest is you need to go ahead and collect Halloween candles. Halloween candles can drop from cultists as a rare chance, or it can be found in chests as well. You put the candles at the door, you light it up, and when it turns nighttime, you can go ahead and trick or treat them. Do it 5 times in one go. You're good to go. Okay, so it does require some game knowledge. There's some RNG with it. You gotta find a cultist place, or they can attack your campfire at night. There's a guaranteed chance. There's always a guaranteed chance to get a Halloween candle when they attack your campfire. At least one. You can get multiple if you get lucky, but at least one candle should drop when they attack your campfire, right? Other than that, you can also just find a cultist area, or they could spawn on other areas as well. But that's just RNG, and also you have to wait like 10 minutes to enter it, so it's a bit time consuming. You can mess up. You could also die and lose all your progress while doing this. You can play multiple people, of course, would make it easier. Um, Everybody in the server who's working together can knock on the door at nighttime. In this one run, I did 10 candles because, or well, 8 candles because the person I'm running with it, I did it first without knowing that you could just share the same house. I guess I didn't like reset. I think I didn't know how it worked, so we had to get some extra candles in one run, but it just made it a little bit longer in that sense. But it's just RNG with it, and it's just like it's good, but it's a bit difficult in that sense. Once again, here's a game I have no idea what to do in this game, or never played it, to be honest with you. These type of games. They're very popular. It's just I just not in my repertoire of games to play on Roblox. So I never know what to do in this game. I'll be honest with you. So basically, the first part is to find jack-o'-lanterns in normal mode, not the Halloween mode. Normal mode, you only find two, and you find them in houses randomly. You pick them up, and you find two. And then the final quest is get to 40,000 meters, and then you activate the bridge and a little bit of a boss fight at the end. So you gotta kind of prep yourself. But this one, once again, if you have progression, you can, be a little bit easier for you, but also as well, um, survivability. So you can make it to the end or get like maybe like not 40K, but like like 30K or even like 20K, right? And you just die. You know what I mean? Like you have a chance to die, and then you have to redo everything. But of course, you could play with other people. It makes it a little bit easier in that sense. But mainly looking at this as solo. But I play it a little bit high because I have no idea if people play this game. I don't think it's that hard in terms of that. Um, but yeah, you just gotta kill zombies and you survive for 2 minutes. That's it. The ending is pretty easy in that sense, but you have a chance to die midway through each time. So there's that. Next up we have is doors. Now doors is for some people not that hard, obviously, but if you play the game a lot, then yeah, it's gonna be easy. But I think because this game has RNG factors with it, but the RNG in doors are very manipulative. You can make it easier for stuff if you know everything about the game. You know all the items. You know how all the entities work. That is where the factor comes in. Like RNG does matter, but also having the knowing that each item, knowing what everything does, will propel you to beat the RNG. But if you're just bad at doors and don't understand anything, this is complicated to for the most part. Okay, so you can play with other people and they could carry you, but you do have to be alive, I think, in order to get this done. So you trick or treat and the first quest, and then you reach room 50, which is just getting to the end, basically. Not the end, it's to 50 in total. So as long that's just the main gimmick of it. It's a bit of RNG, bit of a skill issue, and yeah, that's all there is to it. Next we have is Guts and Blackpowder. Now, uh, if you play the game a lot, it should be pretty simple for you, in my opinion. But for me, at least, I'm more of a newer player and played it a couple of times here and there. It's difficult but if you have pro players doing it, then you should be able to get it done. That's like the only easy part about it. But in terms of like, you know, playing it and understanding what to do, if eventually it's similar to like World Zero or any other game, the chances of people playing this version, because this is like the easier version. I'm not sure. I actually don't know how it works, but it might just people be playing it normally. I'm not entirely sure, but I would say that if the people are farming it and they're not like, and there's like, if they're pros, and you should be good to go. But if like you play it and then there's a bunch of people who don't understand how the event goes, then maybe it's gonna be a lot harder to finish, in my opinion. Okay. And then you beat Headless, and Headless is also difficult as well. But I don't know. It's a fun game, but it's up there in difficulty due to the fact that it is something we gotta kind of just have to figure out or get carried, basically. It's much easier in that sense, but the quest itself is difficult in logic. Though I'll be honest, I don't know where to put this game. It is difficult without a guide. Is it the hardest quest? It could be, but it is missing some of the factors like, you know, lives and checkpoints. Like there's checkpoints, there's lives. I mean, yeah, you don't have to worry about dying that much. There isn't like a boss or anything. It is straight up just just knowing what the maps and going to the exact areas. You know what I mean? There isn't that. It's just like it took a long time to figure out, but also like it's not like in terms of skill there isn't anything like that. Maybe the rune quest might be difficult for newer players to understand COD zombies and all that stuff. Um, right. Uh, like the pack a punch stuff might be difficult for that part, but then the second part, puzzle wise, if you have a guide and follow the guide, it shouldn't be that bad. But without a guide, in terms of that sense, it's difficult. Now, also, yes, I know people in the comments explaining stuff like, look, I know the UV light could be put on the Luger, but I thought it was called Luger, but it was. I didn't know that the gun before this one was the gun. So That's why I made the one window one more difficult than it was supposed to be. So I didn't know that gun. I didn't know that that was a sort of pistol. Honestly, maybe I just my brain was fried, or it wasn't that. I mean, this is pretty early on in the event already, but I didn't know that was a gun, the sidearm there. But yes, I understand. I just didn't know that was it at the time. Like I'm new to this game. I don't know everything about this game. But other than that, I would just play solo. But yeah, it's just no. If you join one in a lobby, then you might get one that has areas unlocked. If not, you gotta unlock all the areas solo and play the game a little bit to get to the areas, which wise time consuming, a bit complicated. And that's that. That is the long video here. Everything should be time stamped, hopefully. It's just like, yeah. Which ones to skip? I mean, I wouldn't say the last four I put in the video. I think take it um as it is in terms of what do you call it, what you see from this video maybe, and just decide, because some of it better with people, better with a guide, better with you know better with a guide, better with people, and skill. I think if you in the game, if you play the game before or like the game a lot, then you will probably do a lot better than most other people. But if you're looking at a game with like parkour, or having to worry about managing your life, or there's no checkpoints, then I truly recommend probably skipping those ones and do the easy ones. And then maybe also worry one thing, the major thing that I said earlier, major thing to worry about is time. The more time you spend not doing the quests, the harder if it's like a team play one, the harder to get good people playing the game. Find people to play with. That's just like in the game that did it early on, don't want to do it again. They're not going to do it again probably. So your best bet, do it early. Always do the harder ones early if it requires people to play with, and then you're good to go at that point. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna enjoy that hopefully, and yeah, that is it. I guess almost an hour, but hey, who's gonna watch the full thing? You know what I mean?